Next video we're reacting to is from Muujin 2 days ago. From Lunatic YouTuber to EU politician. The story of, I don't know how to say his name. I remember.
Well, guys, technically official.
Not yet. Want to see me live? Links in the description. Twitch.tv/Nirvana Tenchi. Say hi to YouTube if you want to be in Twitch chat and be above my head. And say hi to Clump. Okay. Here we go. Watch the video.
Well, guys, it's practically official. Japan is the best country on planet Earth. Not only is it back to its pre-pandemic touristic numbers, but it's beating every single record it held beforehand. But unfortunately, when you have...
What does that mean? Touristic numbers? International visitors in Japan. Oh, okay. Nice.
But it's beating every single record it held
I still want to
beforehand.
visit Japan at some
When
point.
you have so many
I'd love
apples
to.
going through the Japanese system, a bunch of rotten apples will inevitably show up. In the case of nuisance influencers in Japan specifically, most people will think of the example of Johnny Somali.
Yeah, Johnny Somali. He's one of the very few people on the internet I actually fucking hate. Hate is a strong word for me. I fucking hate and despise this dude. First of all, he's ugly. Second of all, he's annoying. Third of all, he should stay in prison.
Ollie, an American live streamer who went there, completely disrespected Japanese culture, and was even
He's like
racist
such
and
an
obnoxious
asshole.
towards its citizens. But if you've been on the internet
It's
for long
honestly impressive how much of an asshole he is. Like, actually, fuck, I hate this dude.
enough, then you know for a fact that this
Every
isn't
time I see his fucking face, I just want to punch my screen. It's just,
the first time Japan has had to endure something like this. I just can't seem to remember who did it first, though. I need a clip to refresh.
Didn't he get confronted by the Yakuza? Yeah, he did. Like, a guy went up to him, beat him up, deservedly, and forced him to apologize, but he apparently didn't learn his fucking lesson after that.
my memory or something.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
Okay, all right. I think that definitely rings a bell. Yep, thank you so much. Look, the idea of lunatic YouTubers that would do anything...
Logan Paul, I think there was a point he was getting better and he was redeeming himself, but then he screwed himself over with the CryptoZoo scam, and it's like, can people just leave Japan alone? Like, please?
just to get some views on their channel isn't
Crazy.
new. It's been around for a very long time, but recently it's been more and more prevalent. But what does that really mean for the average person? For most people, these influencers are nothing more than distant clowns.
Can you
Their
please get
actions,
his
while
face off my
ridiculously
goddamn
stupid,
screen?
will
I
never
hate
really
him.
directly have an effect on their lives. But, worryingly enough, that could be changing sooner rather than later. As more time passes, YouTubers are expressing a bigger interest in running for political office. Like how at some point, Mr. Beast said, if we lower the age to run for president, I'll jump in the race. Receiving, of course, a worrying amount of support, but these people probably thought he was joking. Well, he was...
Yeah, that's not really something you joke about, is it? Because I think at some point Donald Trump joked about it. And Kanye was joked about it. I think Kanye was in the running, but then he had to drop out, if I remember. And then Donald Trump did run, and he... Who's our president right now? Is it Donald Trump again? Ugh.
was not. He doubled down on a podcast saying, no, don't worry, I am running for president, but probably when I'm older in my 50s or 60s. Now look, sorry to burst your bubble. I know you're very excited to watch $1 missile versus $1 million missile on Middle Eastern children, but this isn't the first time that a celebrity has toyed with the idea of becoming a politician. The reality is, though, that while
being president isn't something that you just become, right? Like, first of all, you have to be a politician. Which I don't even think Donald Trump was even a politician. I don't want to keep talking about this. But you can't just be president on a whim just because you want to.
while it does sound good on paper, it ends up being very disappointing. But that doesn't mean that you should celebrate just yet. What if I told you that there was a lunatic YouTuber who flew all the way to Japan just to commit crimes in order to film a video? The same YouTuber who showed the world that he lacked complete self-awareness.
I thought that was fake. That's real? Is that actually a real video? I thought that was fake. What the f?
by making a video thumbnail like this one with the title of "I spent 100 hours in the world's poorest country." So what if I told you that this YouTuber not only became a politician, but holds such a high office that he can vote on laws that influence over 450 million people?
That's terrifying. That's actually really scary.
You'd probably think that I'm absolutely crazy, that I lost my mind. Well, I really do wish that I was joking. Because this YouTuber, ever since the summer of 2024, has been a European Union Parliament member. Now you'd think, okay, fine, I guess he cleaned up his act if he's going to become a politician. Well, no, he's causing drama within the European Parliament, going as far as to go up against
Why is he
the
showing
vice
people's
president
feet?
of the Parliament in TikTok drama, okay? They're literally out here calling each other out back and forth on Twitter videos. It's absolutely wild, but I also have a feeling that it won't be the last time that we'll see a Lunatic
Wait, they're beefing on TikTok? What does the world come to? That we're literally having political arguments on fucking TikTok.
YouTuber make it to politics. This is why we have to talk about it. Let's do this. So, Fidias Panayotou is a YouTuber that hails from the little country of Cyprus. His YouTube channel currently sits at over 2.7 million subscribers, and what he did to reach this milestone was actually fairly straightforward. From the beginning, it was very clear who his inspirations on YouTube were. His video pacing, as well as his ideas, were heavily inspired by YouTubers like Mr. Beast.
It was inspired by Mr. Beast? I totally can't tell.
Can be seen in this video, for example, titled "I Said Mr. Beast"
As he has Mr. Beast's face literally plastered all over his entire room.
a million times. Very similar to one of Mr. Beast's early viral videos titled "Saying PewDiePie 100,000 times." But as time went by, Fidias started to realize that Mr. Beast wasn't going to be his ticket to fame. That's when he set his sights on someone else for his ultimate inspiration.
Wait, what is this recommended? What are you watching? Wait, he probably hasn't watched like a lot of crazy for his videos. 4chan versus... What is that?
Eric, a YouTuber that had gained prominence by trespassing into multiple locations while stalking Logan Paul. He had successfully done so multiple times and was able to build a name for himself. Now sitting at over 15.6 million.
Sorry, I was supposed to be looking at the video he was showing, but I couldn't stop looking at the recommended that he had.
subscribers. Fidias saw this and decided that he would do the exact same thing to Eric. This is when he would make the video, "This is how I met Eric," back in the beginning of 2021. Where he would fly out from Cyprus
fake
all the way
image.
to Los Angeles just to meet
I'm paying
Eric
attention.
in order to give him a gift. This video feels like a reenactment of a true crime documentary. Like, think about it. A dude obsessed so much with a celebrity that he's willing to travel through continents and do everything in their power to meet with them. There's been restraining orders issued for less than that. Okay, this is crazy.
Yeah, isn't this kind of stocky? There have been a couple YouTubers that have basically stalked their quote-unquote favorite YouTuber just to like be able to talk to them or something. It's kind of insane.
His plan was to get his community to spam the ever-living shit out of Eric and his team in order for him to meet
I think
him.
there was a guy stalking Mr. Beast at some point.
And by using the power of TikTok's algorithm, he actually managed to do it.
Not stop until I give this box to Eric.
So the message had reached Eric, he found it funny, and he actually ended up meeting with him. He was initially kind of scared, and I mean, why wouldn't he? He's literally meeting
Yeah, because you're literally hugging your stalker right now.
being a stalker, but things carried on pretty positively. He ended up opening the mystery box and the video performed very well. But here's the thing, it really doesn't take a genius to understand that Fidias had a lot of potential. The guy was a lunatic and would do anything for views. So Eric had the brilliant idea of keeping him around. You would start to see Fidias appearing in Eric's videos, but you would also see Eric appearing in Fidias's videos, like Eric controls my life for 24 hours.
Hold on, what are these thumbnails? Why is he dying in literally every single one of them? He's dying in that one, he's dying in this. survive 5 days. You literally almost killed yourself. 5 days, that's insane.
Fidias' videos like Eric controls my life for 24 hours straight. This gave Fidias exactly what he wanted. It legitimized him and his channel, allowing him to not only be present in Los Angeles, but also get to meet some of the top YouTubers in the space. These connections allowed him to create his magnum opus, his most viewed YouTube video of all time, titled I Hugged the World's Top 100 Celebrities. It was evident that Fidias' influence had grown exponentially since the first person he was hugging in this video was Mr. Beast himself, his first ever inspiration. He then went on to hug other celebrities. Oh my god, this aged so badly. This aged so badly. Oh my god.
Who was that?
Most of the people in this video were his friends in
Or I don't know a lot of
his
celebrities.
main goal was the 100th person, which was going to be Elon Musk. Now, yeah, sure, Elon's mother, May Musk, might have complained that she was getting harassed on all platforms because of Fidias' community, with so many of them begging her to ask Elon to hug him. And I guess Fidias did community.
Wait, hold on. Is this guy actually defending him? What is good about Twitter? What is good about Twitter is you can complain about spamming on Instagram. Fidias asks his Instagram followers to spam me. I have removed over 500. 500? Elon Musk, please do not hug this malicious man. Stay safe. And then this guy is low-key defending him. He's a YouTuber, pretty good entertainer. He's literally having people stalk this poor woman.
With so many of them begging her to ask Elon to hug him. And I guess Fidias did camp out for 46 days outside the Twitter headquarters hoping to catch Elon leaving to hug him. But look, what matters in the end is that he did it, guys.
Wait, how did he not get arrested? Wasn't he? I mean, he wasn't technically on the property, but he was kind of low-key stalking him.
Elon actually invited him over and hugged him, and not because he was scared of probably getting murdered if he said no. This was easily the biggest moment in his YouTube career so far, even though his methods were crossing every line of privacy and were borderline on the verge of stalking. He spun it off as an inspirational message for perseverance and that you too can do whatever you wish to do.
It actually is stalking.
On it, and it almost seemed like he was on top of the world. But even with all these influential friends and all these views, nothing at his disposal could have shielded him from the backlash that his own stupidity would generate. Before committing crimes in Japan, his first major drama involved this video with this thumbnail, titled, I spent 100 hours in the world's poorest country.
This is the world's poorest country, and there is a lot of bad things said about it.
What is he doing spinning like this, bro? What's going on?
My own eyes, if it's true or not.
He made this video out to be a way for him to raise awareness about the living conditions in Burundi. But it's actually a very hard video to watch if you have any sense of self-awareness. Viewers did not appreciate the way he was interacting with the local population, appearing to never take anything seriously and acting more like a tourist in a zoo rather than someone who was concerned about the living conditions of people in Burundi.
Here's your 50 cents. Thank you.
He also said very inspirational things like this.
I just wanted to say, guys, that poor
Shadowx, thank you for following.
doesn't mean bad. Poor is like being tall or short. It's just a fact and doesn't define you.
I wanted to see the poor.
Look, I'm not a doctor, but this lack of self-awareness should definitely be classified as a major disorder because holy shit, this can't be real, but it is. Anyway, based on the dislike ratio, I'm sure you can tell it wasn't a very popular video.
Yeah,
and many
terrible
YouTubers
video.
criticized it. One could say that it was his first major controversy of this level. Usually, when a creator is faced with this many dislikes and so much criticism, they take a step back. Maybe they apologize, maybe they start making content with a different point of view. But seeing that we're dealing with someone who lacks all sense of self-awareness, it only had the opposite effect, and it's what led up to more crazy, stupid content.
He looks
The next
insane.
step
Oh my
in
goodness.
Fidias' evolution was committing crimes in foreign countries, starting with the UK. This all happened in a now deleted video titled, I traveled across the entire UK for free. His goal was to go from Brighton all the way to the north of the UK for free. He started by sneaking inside a bus's luggage compartment instead of paying $3 for a ticket, hoping to go through the entire ride for free. He was then, in the
That
dumbest
doesn't
way
seem
possible,
safe.
caught by the bus driver and was forced to flee after he threatened to call security. As if that wasn't bad enough, after running away, he goes to the train station and starts begging random people for money in order for him to buy a train ticket.
Wait, then what? Then that's not doing it for free. You're still using money. You like already Ugh. You like already broke the rules of your own challenge.
Successfully begging for a ticket, it wasn't enough to cover his destination. So he ended up getting on the train illegally and staying in the bathroom throughout the entire thing in order to not get caught. Oh, and let's not forget, in the bathroom while he was on the train illegally, he had a sponsor to share with all of us. Like, this is insane. You can't
filming
make
a
this up.
sponsor
This is
right
a
now.
YouTuber disrespecting a foreign country's public transport system. But people didn't take it as seriously because it was the UK. So of course he wasn't going to take a step back. He did it again in a different country. This time though, he faced a lot of backlash. What really started the first big wave of international controversy
He did
was him
India?
traveling to India, more specifically Bengaluru, where for an Instagram reel, he showed himself getting on a metro for free.
Wait.
Why not?
Oh my gosh. You're literally filming your crime and posting it on the internet. Of course you got fucking caught. If you're gonna do crime, don't film it. If you're gonna film it, don't post it.
Not paying in the most obnoxious way imaginable. Watch.
I will teach you how to get the metro in India for free. Do you think I will get it for free or no?
I don't think so.
I will try to prove him wrong.
Let's hope for the best. La 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 la.
This video was massively disliked, especially
literally
by
a
Indians,
public
with many
figure.
of
They
them
can
arguing
find
that if
you,
they were
sir.
to do something like this in a foreign country, they would get crucified. You gotta wonder if Fidias would be okay with me going to Cyprus and dodging every bill if it was for a video. But this backlash barely did anything to him. He didn't apologize and he did not stop. In fact, he brought it to the next level, as he always did. I mean, of course he did. This time, he decided to do the same thing he did in India and the UK, but in Japan, taking it a step further, barely
Girl,
a
leave
month
Japan
after
alone.
Johnny Somali had gotten in trouble in that country. Now again, this video was taken down and we'll get to why later, but for the time being, the original title of the video was I Traveled Across Japan for Free, and this is a re-upload. Fidias and a bunch of other foreign YouTubers wanted to travel the entirety of Japan, but for free without paying for anything. The video starts off with massive
On your
secondhand
bed.
embarrassment with him begging for money from a local. Yes, and the worst part is we're only getting started. He then got on a bus hoping to use the money there, and in Japan you pay when you leave the bus. However, when he was about to leave, the bus driver told him that it was 680 yen. He only had 600. He was 80 yen short and tried to act stupid so he can leave the bus, but the bus driver wouldn't let him. Fidias kept
Rightfully
acting
so.
purposefully stupid, saying, I don't understand what this guy's saying. I mean, obviously he's speaking in Japanese. And so the bus driver ended up calling the police on him, and Fidias was escorted to the police station. According to Fidias, though, the biggest tragedy wasn't him being almost detained in a foreign
680
country. It was
isn't even
this.
that much in American dollars, is
They
it?
took my phone away, so I couldn't film anything.
Come on, guys. Why are Japanese people so against content? I'm trying to make a living here. Like, come on. Now, for some reason, the police decided to let him go, probably thinking it's some dumb foreigner that just
Like,
didn't
how did
know
he
to
not
pay for
have
the
enough?
bus. And so what was the first thing he decided to do? Maybe reflect, take a step back on how he could have been detained at any second there? No, it was to commit another crime. He took inspiration from his trip to the UK and thought to himself that he could pull the same thing in Japan by staying in the bathroom for the duration of the trip and not paying in the Japanese metro. But Japan isn't the UK. The police knew what he was up to and were waiting for him outside the bathroom as soon as he tried to get out, something that Fidias wasn't expecting. For some reason though, again, they let him go temporarily and he decided to run for it, losing them in the process and getting to the next metro before
Running
they could
from
catch
the
up to him.
police?
Again, I don't know how he
Okay.
got away with this, but it seemed like Japanese police were giving him way too much benefit of the doubt. Look at how smug this guy is. He's so happy he just committed a crime in a foreign country and got away with it. And he wasn't the only one. This is another YouTuber from this YouTuber squad doing the same exact thing.
They're the
He
whole
wouldn't stop
squad?
there though. To make matters worse, he snuck into a 5-star hotel and got to
Why?
a buffet in which he ate food he hadn't paid for since he's not a guest and got away with it. Okay, again, taking advantage
Oh yeah,
of
he's filming
Japanese
so many crimes
hospitality
here.
and absolutely making a fool of himself while not even realizing it because he lacks all sense of self-awareness. Again, look at how smug he looks, how happy he is that he committed a crime. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this happened barely 1
Those
month
poor
after Johnny
workers.
Somali had done his antics in Japan. People were already very fed up with YouTubers ruining foreigners' reputation in the name of content, and there he was doing it all over again. Voice Critical made a video talking about this, titled "Committing Crimes for YouTube Views is Crazy," and many other YouTubers talked about this as well, such as PewDiePie, Abroad in Japan, you name it. People were so fed up with this, it was insane. This topic was getting so big that even Business Insider wrote about it. A YouTuber is getting dragged for saying he traveled across Japan for free by begging and hiding in train toilets to hitch free rides. At this point, it was getting way too big for Fidias to ignore like he usually does, so he apologized. But believe it or not, his apology was worse than Logan Paul's apology.
Yeah, obviously, because he wasn't sorry.
Lapse in my judgment.
Instead of it being an apology video or anything that people can actually see, he just decided to comment this on the video itself, saying, "Hello, beautiful people. I apologize to the Japanese people if we made them feel bad. That was not our goal."
Okay, first of all, that's a shitty way to apologize. I apologize if what I did made you feel bad. That's not taking responsibility.
From now on, I am going to make more research to the culture.
That's a terrible apology.
And try to prevent this from happening again. I love you all. Well, Fidias, I'm sure the 5 people who like this comment genuinely understand your remorse. Because truly, this is probably the first time I see someone with a controversy this big apologize with such a badly written comment. Google Translate from Greek to English would have written something better than this, okay? This is not even an exaggeration. The apology was so bad that it added even more fuel to the fire, and YouTube actually issued a warning to Fidias and removed 5 of his videos that were too controversial, including the Japanese one and the one in the UK in which he sat in the luggage compartment of a bus. Japan then proceeded to investigate his train fare dodging, but it was a bit too late since he had already left the country. Look, over time, this novelty of this lunatic that was copying Mr. Beast's style,
and he
was
became a
wearing off.
politician?
His views
How?
that were once in the millions would gradually start to disappear, and his upload schedule would gradually become worse and worse. The Japan video and his complete lack of self-awareness in his other videos contributed to absolutely destroying his reputation. People just did not like him as much as they used to anymore. Not to mention
People
that the
like
people
them?
who helped legitimize him also cut contact with him
I
after his
doubt
many
that,
controversies.
honestly.
Things were looking very bad for Fidias. This is where he would turn his attention to his next endeavor. And it's something that no one could have ever seen coming. The European Union has its elections held every 5 years, and the next one was about to be in the summer of 2024. Now, every country in the European Union has seats in the European Parliament. The amount of seats is based on multiple factors, but Cyprus, being a part of the European Union, has 6 seats. Members of the European Parliament vote on laws that affect the entirety of the European Union. This is why it's fairly important to vote for people who you identify with, because they're not just going to influence your country, but the entirety of the European Union. Fidias would go back to Cyprus and create a YouTube channel by the name of Fidias Cyprus. He saw how much there was a disconnect between Cypriot citizens and their politicians, so he felt that it was a good opportunity to actually sit down and interview the candidates running for European Parliament. He made several podcasts with several different candidates, but eventually something clicked. All of a sudden, on April 2024, barely 2 months before the European Parliament elections, he got up on stage to announce his candidacy beside his father, who is a priest, and man, did the apple fall very far from the tree. Almost every politician in Cyprus saw this as a joke, because there has never been a person who won as an independent since Cyprus had joined the European Union. But regardless, he did it anyway. He wanted to bring something new and different for the voters because he was tired of politicians serving only their personal interests.
Oh, and you're
This was
different?
Yet another time in
Okay.
which he put his perseverance
Yeah,
to the
whatever.
test, but thankfully without stalking anyone or committing any crimes. There were articles written about him. He was making waves because typically in Cyprus specifically,
If anything, he's worse. He filmed himself committing multiple crimes.
the European election sees a high level of voter absenteeism. For Cyprus in particular, barely half of the population even bothers voting. Seeing an influencer they recognized motivated more of them to actually vote during this election. Even though he admitted that he knows nothing of politics, but ran anyway because he can't abide by the continued rules of nerds in Brussels. It's a great campaign story, you gotta admit. But in the end, it was effective. The votes were finally in for the European elections of 2024, and it turned out that one of the winners was Fidias. He was the first independent in history to have won in Cyprus, and the turnout was way higher than usual, almost 14 percentage points higher than the last European Parliament election. He was third in terms of votes and had secured 1 seat in the European parliament, beating some
Actually,
political
how?
parties that have been established for decades. He, of course, in Fidias fashion, had to make a video about it immediately after, and even had
course he
a
did.
wonderful sponsor for everyone to enjoy. It was official. Cyprus had elected a 24-year-old lunatic YouTuber to represent them in the European Parliament. It felt like a fever dream, but it was reality. The Tokyo Weekender says this election is both a symptom and a symbol of our times, and I tend to agree. We're going to be seeing this a lot more in the future. One of the first votes that Fidias was going to participate in is voting for the next president of the European Commission, who was at the time Ursula von der Leyen. He decided to base his opinion on a Twitter poll. I'm not even kidding. He said, "Do you want me to vote for Ursula von der Leyen to remain as president?"
You're basing
of the
your
European
opinions
Commission?
on
Whatever
Twitter
you
polls?
say, I will do. And the majority said
You should
no,
not be
sitting at
in
121,000 votes. It didn't matter since she ended up winning anyway and is now serving a second term, but it showed that his political career, much like his YouTube career, was going to be very unpredictable, and so far, that's exactly what's been happening. He made a TikTok highlighting how much a European Parliament member makes in terms of monthly income, but also in terms of extra allowances they receive. This video got millions of views because it highlighted that a European Parliament member receives over 60,000 euros a month in terms of both salary and allowances for their team. This information is, of course, available on the European Parliament website, but let's be honest.
You know, you can only use that for your political duties, right? I don't think that's personal money, is it?
Who's going to actually bother coming here and reading all this? He received both praise and criticism for his transparency. And when I say criticism, I mean people were pissed that politicians were making this much money. But don't you dare think for a second that Fidias became a full-fledged serious
Bro,
politician.
you're wearing a hoodie. Put on a suit. You're in politics. You're standing in front of a government body. Look professional at least.
His need for drama and controversy to fuel his views
Can't afford
is
a
still
suit?
present, evident in him causing drama with the vice president of the European Parliament. Fidias was saying that there are two ways to vote in the European Parliament, either by raising hands or by using the electronic system. He alleged that the vice president of the European Parliament was using the hand gestures on purpose so that he could direct the vote to the result he wanted, showing an example of him making a mistake thinking that the vote was no, and then him redoing it with the electronic votes and it showing that it's a yes. Obviously, the accusation is pretty big because it shows that he can just choose the vote he wants regardless of what the parliament thinks. This made the vice president of the European Parliament respond directly to Fidias, saying that the video is fake and stitched, all in the name of trying to prove a point that wasn't there, explaining that these were two votes stitched together and that both of them were checked electronically. Fidias then went ahead and made another video showing the raw unedited footage sped up and inviting the vice president of the European Parliament for a debate on his podcast. Slowly but
Bro,
surely,
that's the
turning
fucking vice
European Union
president. He has
politics
more-
into a reality.
He had more important things to do than to participate in your fucking petty beef. He doesn't want to get in a boxing ring with you.
TV show. Now imagine if you had more than one Fidias in the parliament. Yeah, the future looks bleak. This was only one of many controversies of him as a politician. A group that represented missing persons in Cyprus went to Fidias hoping that he can give them a platform in the parliament. They said that the response they got was him mocking them, saying phrases such as, "You think highly of yourselves," or "I have an uncle who is missing, but I'm not doing that." He then made a response in Greek, but the replies were definitely not on his side, saying things like "shame on you, nothing else," "shame," empathy is not saying 2 or 3 more words to people who are still hurting. He also made a video saying that the main problem in the European Union is that the left isn't talking to the right and that the right isn't talking to the left. But instead of actually making an argument about it, he quoted the foreign minister of Russia from an interview that he had with Tucker Carlson, okay, saying this: "Look, as a European Parliament member, doing this is actually insane. I don't think I need to explain to you why that is." The comments were also absolutely cooking him. It was yet another attempt at getting praised, but due to his lack of self-awareness, he only got cooked for it. Where does that leave us today? Well, Fidias wants to create his own party in the European Parliament. Yep, that's right. Jake Paul had Team 10. Mr. Beast has his own team, and Fidias wants to make his own team, but this time while controlling the lives of over 450 million people in the European Union. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. For now, though, all we know is that he'll be a parliament member for the next 5 years. And I do wonder if by 2029, other YouTubers will get inspired by him and also run for the European elections. I sure as hell really hope that's not the case. Idiot YouTubers need to stay idiot YouTubers. Getting into politics and actually affecting lives of millions of people was never part of the plan, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to vote, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that is. Thank you so much for
Yeah, I hope he gets out of the government, because I don't really trust this man with any sort of lawmaking at all.
watching. Love you. Mwah.
Oh, jeez. I hope it works out at some point, but that sounds crazy. Okay, I think that's good for the reactions today.